Welcome back everyone, this is the 18th episode of my Dragon Age Origins hardcore 100% playthrough. In this episode, the primary objective is to get the Lifegiver ring. In episode 17, we came very close to actually having enough gold to buy it, so I think it's best if we head towards Orzammar immediately and just collect whatever gold is missing along the way. In the last episode we also finished the main quest, which means that in this one we will confront Zevran. So let's get it done.
I bring word, sire. There are demands from the Banorn that you step down from the Regency. They are said to be gathering their forces, as are your allies. It appears it will be civil war after all, despite the Darkspawn. Pity. I also have an interesting report. There seem to be Grey Wardens who survived Ostagar. How, I don't know. But they will act against you. I have arranged for a solution, with your leave.
The Antivan Crows send their regards. An assassin?
Against Grey Wardens, we will need the very best, sire.
And the most expensive.
Just get it done.
So from the 87 gold, we are only missing 7 to acquire the Lifegiver. Now, there are plenty of things that we can do to get that much gold here in Orzammar, and one of them is to kill the hidden dragon. So in case you don't know, there's a hidden dragon in the throne room who you can summon by stepping on the pressure plates and then touching the throne. The dragon that spawns is a boss-ranked, fully grown male dragon, which means that it's more dangerous than a drake, but less dangerous than a high dragon. Once it's dead, it will drop the Ageless Sword, which is a pretty good two-handed weapon, but in this playthrough there is really no one to give it to, so we're just gonna sell it. Its value is around 2 gold, so once we sell it, we will only need 5 more to get the Lifegiver. Yeah, let's summon the bear. I want an additional tank for this one. I set him up to use Slam on the nearest visible enemy, which is going to be the dragon. Slam is basically a critical hit with a knockdown effect. Sadly, dragons can't be knocked down, but hopefully the critical hit will still land.
Yes.
Excellent, now give me that sword. Oh, look at that, we also have a red steel heavy armor. Now we are extremely close to getting that ring. So there are a bunch of fanatics over there. They're always wearing a full set of dwarven armor. And since we're using a dex rogue, most of our damage is gonna be absorbed by their massive armor. But since there are no bosses around, I will just set up the wolf to overwhelm the nearest visible enemy. That way we have one less dwarf to worry about. Backstab also doesn't work on the ones with the shield because they all have the shield tactics passive, so either stun them first or use dual striking instead. Lifegiver has the champion shield, which is a pretty good shield, but Alistair already has his equipment, but I do want it for the money, so I'm just gonna let Leliana relieve him of it. There it is, the champion shield. Look at that, 12 defense. I wish it would be easier to steal it, because we could have used this shield on Alistair before we picked up Kaelin's arms for him.
You're awfully bold, walking right up to me after coming out against Prince Balin and the Proving. You do know who I am, right? I'm Vartag Gavorn, the Prince's chief advisor. Well, you have an unusual way of showing it. Why would the Prince possibly meet with someone who came out publicly against him? I see your point. Had you come to us first, Harrowmont would have suspected you. But now, he has no reason to think you're anything other than his champion. On the proving grounds and off. Are you saying you'd infiltrate his ranks for us? Let the Prince know what's happening on the inside? For your treaty, right? I heard about that. Sure. If Balin's king, he'll help you against the Blight. If it turns out you helped him get there. If you really want Balin's trust, you'll have to prove your loyalty to Harrowmont is just an act. What has he asked you to do next? That's a good plan. If he can claim credit for stopping the Carter, Harrowmont will be in Golden with a lot of Deshers. It's a little odd, though, given his associations with Dusttown smugglers. Well, I'm surprised Harrowmont's protecting Orzammar from the Carter, when I have solid evidence his own cousin supplies their lyrium. These papers show ties between the Carter and young Harville Harrowmont. If you ensure they are found in Jarvia's possession, I guarantee the Prince will want to talk to you. And don't bother looking for Lord Helmy and Lady Dace. This is a far better way to prove your worth.
Obviously I don't plan to betray Harrowmont, however, if we plant the evidence in Jarvia's box in her hideout and then report back to Vartag, we will get 750 extra experience. But we will still pick Harrowmont, so there's really no reason not to pick up this quest.
Rumors of Grey Warden mass recruitment of Caslas circulating the colony.
News of the hour. Lord Balin's claims that Lord Harrowmont stopped the Darkfall.
Have you seen my lunch? It's a piece of lichen bread with a spread of old cheese and shredded dried meat. I'm only asking because you never know who's going to get hungry. Right. Best in the trade, you know. I work the Orm myself.
Okay, so here we are at Garin's shop, and it's time for us to get that Lifegiver. Let's remember that we sold the Barbarian Mace here. I'm not sure if we will ever need it again, but it's always good to remember where you sold your plus attribute items. And there it is, the Lifegiver. This is an amazing piece of equipment, and it's probably one of the best accessories in the entire game. It gives 50 health, 3 armor, health regeneration inside and outside of combat. I mean, it's terrific. The only thing that doesn't work is the heal effectiveness bonus, but that's because that attribute does not work on any equipment in Origins. This ring is the ultimate confidence booster. In fact, now that I have it, I just want to get into some trouble. Alright, so let's leave Orzammar, because it's time to meet that Zevran guy.
So what do you think will happen to all those people we left behind in Lothering?
Some of them will find their way to Denerim. Many will die, as the Maker wills.
Don't you wish you could have stayed there? To help more people, I mean.
If the Blight isn't stopped, everyone will die. This is the greater good we're serving, both of us, right here.
So it's all right to let some people die for the greater good? I'm not so sure about that. I felt bad leaving all those people there, all panicked and helpless.
You're doing what you must, Alistair. There will be worse to come yet. You will need to steel yourself. You know this.
I've never been very good at that. The steeling myself part. I find it better sometimes to just be a little weak. I'm all right with that, really.
I don't believe you. And either way, it's not as if any of us has a choice.
Bread? Please, sir. Just a bit of bread.
So after you see the cutscene with Login and Hao talking to Zevran, the next time you travel on the map, you will be interrupted by the crows. The fight itself is incredibly hectic. You have a total of 8 rogues, 5 archers and 2 melee, 2 melee warriors, and of course Zevran, who is also a melee rogue. But if this wouldn't be enough, the entire area is filled with traps, you cannot retreat, and there is also a mage.
Oh, thank the Maker. We need help. They attacked the wagon. Please help us. Follow me. I'll take you to them.
Well, I hope I don't spoil anything, but that's her. She has a very impressive array of spells, and all of them are dangerous. She can cast Shock, Paralyze, Lightning, Chain Lightning, Fireball, and even Petrify on higher levels. Also, she's completely immune to Stun and Knockdown. Luckily, she doesn't have a whole lot of health, so obviously we will focus on her first, and we're gonna try to feed her to the wolf. I set up the wolf to use Overwhelm on the nearest visible mage. Hopefully this will make him go after her immediately. The rest of the tactics are pretty much the same. Use Dread Howl when he's being attacked by melee attacks, and use Charge and Shred on pretty much any enemy. We have to make sure we trigger the cutscene with the wolf, otherwise he will be locked behind the fallen tree trunk. Okay, beautiful. Bon appetit.
You shall run
Okay, so that's it for that ambush. Alistair, what are you doing?
I'll try to be more careful.
What? Zevran? Oh, he was hiding in stuff.
Oh, what? I rather thought I would wake up dead, or not wake up at all, as the case may be. But I see you haven't killed me yet. Oh, you're rather an aggressive little minx, aren't you? Lovely, too. But if it's questions you're planning on asking me, let me save you a little time and get right to the point. My name is Zevran. Zev to my friends. I am a member of the Antivan Crows, brought here for the sole purpose of slaying any surviving Grey Wardens, which I have failed at, sadly. So would I be in your shoes. For me, however, it sets a rather poor precedent, doesn't it? Getting captured by a target seems a tad detrimental to one's budding assassin career. Yes, it's true. Too bad for me.
I can tell you that. They are an order of assassins out of Antiva, very powerful and renowned for always getting the job done, so to speak. Someone went to great expense to hire this man.
Quite right. I'm surprised you haven't heard much of the Crows out here. Back where I come from, we're rather infamous. Oh, fine. Is that what you Fereldans do? Mock your prisoners? Such cruelty. Not precisely. I was in the neighborhood when the offer came. The Crows get around, you see. A rather taciturn fellow in the capital. Logain, I think his name was. Yes, that's it. I have no idea what his issues are with you. The usual, I imagine. You threatened his power, yes? Beyond that, no, I am not loyal to him. I was contracted to perform a service. Oh, well, that's between Logain and the Crows, and between the Crows and myself. Isn't that what we're establishing now? I wasn't. If I had succeeded, I would have returned home and the Crows would have informed your Logain of the results, if he didn't already know. If I had failed, I would be dead, or I should be, at least as far as the Crows are concerned. No need to see Logain then. What can I say, huh? I am an eternal optimist. Although the chances of succeeding at this point seem a bit slim, don't they? No, I don't suppose you'd find that funny, would you? I wasn't paid anything. The Crows, however, were paid quite handsomely, or so I understand. Which does make me about as poor as a chantry mouse, come to think of it. Being an Antivan Crow isn't for the ambitious, to be perfectly honest. Well, aside from a distinct lack of ambition, I suppose it's because I wasn't given much of a choice. The Crows bought me young. I was a bargain, too, or so I'm led to believe. But don't let my sad story influence you. The Crows aren't so bad. They keep one well supplied. Wine, women, men, whatever you happen to fancy. Though the whole severance package is garbage, let me tell you. If you're considering joining, I'd really think twice about it. You seem like a bright girl. I'm sure you have other options. Why not? I wasn't paid for silence. Not that I offered it for sale, precisely. Loyalty is an interesting concept. If you wish, and you're done interrogating me, we can discuss it further. Well, here's the thing. I failed to kill you, so my life is forfeit. That's how it works. If you don't kill me, the crows will. Thing is, I like living. And you obviously are the sort to give the crows pause, so let me serve you instead. I happen to be a very loyal person. Up until the point where someone expects me to die for failing. That's not a fault, really, is it? I mean, unless you're the sort who would do the same thing, in which case I don't come very well recommended, I suppose. To be completely honest, I was never given much of a choice regarding joining the Crows. They bought me on the slave market when I was a child. I think I paid my worth back to them plus tenfold. The only way out, however, is to sign up with someone they can't touch. Even if I did kill you now, they might just kill me on principle for failing the first time. Honestly, I'd rather take my chances with you. Possibly. I happen to know their wily ways, however. I can protect myself as well as you. Not that you seem to need much help. And if not, well, it's not as if I had many alternatives to start with, is it? I think you're royally tough to kill, and utterly gorgeous. Not that I think you'll respond to simple flattery, but there are worse things in life than serving the whims of a deadly sex goddess. Well, let's see. Being allowed to live would be nice, and would make me marginally more useful to you. And somewhere down the line, if you should decide that you no longer have need of me, then I go on my way. Until then, I am yours. Is that fair? Why? Because I am skilled at many things, from fighting to stealth and picking locks. I could also warn you should the Antivan Crows attempt something more sophisticated, now that my attempts have failed. I could also stand around and look pretty if you prefer. Warm your bed. Fend off unwanted suitors, no? These things you say, they must drive the men back home simply wild. So what shall it be? I'll even shine armor. You won't find a better deal, I promise.
What? You're taking the assassin with us now? Does that really seem like a good idea? All right, I see your point. Still, if there was a sign we were desperate, I think it just knocked on the door and said hello.
A fine plan. But I would examine your food and drink far more closely from now on, were I you.
That's excellent advice for anyone.
Welcome, Zevran. Having an Antivan Crow join us sounds like a fine plan.
Oh, you are another companion to be, then? I wasn't aware such loveliness existed amongst adventurers, surely.
Or maybe not.
I hereby pledge my oath of loyalty to you until such a time as you choose to release me from it. I am your man, without reservation. This I swear.
Okay, so we recruited the horny elf. Let's pick up the red Jenny letter. It seems like Zevran left his signature. Since we're here in Denerim, let's just quickly get the reward that Jenna TV promised. It's gonna be a Master Magic Resistance room. We can also talk to Ignacio to unlock the Trials of the Crows quest.
Dwarves
dwarven craft. Fine dwarven craft.
Another visitor, Maestro. Enjoy browsing my wares. Master Trader Ignacio, at your service, good sir. My cousin and I have trade connections all along the seaways. We have furniture, silks, carvings, and much more. Caesar handles the trade stock, I handle other affairs. Business deals, meetings. Caesar makes it so I am free of the day-to-day concerns of our store. No, I am not. I am a trader at heart. My home is the road. But I was born past the waking sea in Antiva. It has been many, many years since I have seen her. But the road is a better mistress than my home city ever was. No. Not yet. Perhaps one day. Luck be to you, Warden.
If it isn't the champion who succeeded in the quest for the sacred urn, I had not expected to see you so soon. I've written to the Chantry, telling them of your adventures. They are interested in having me lead an expedition. What do you think of that? I'm quite excited. You made this all possible. I could never thank you quite enough, but I'm certainly going to try. Here, take this reward. I want you to have it. It will certainly do more good in your hands than lying around in this dusty house, eh? And now, if you will excuse me, I have so much to prepare for. I wish Waylon was here to see all this.
Well, Generative just reminded me that we left a locked box in Haven. It has a pretty good bow for Leliana, so let's just quickly pick it up.
Make a serve.
Morrigan leveled up. So let's put 3 on willpower and let's pick up Earthquake. What's interesting about this lock is that if you come here first without having device mastery, you cannot unlock it. But if you come back after you got device mastery, the box will be open.
And I'm off.
Okay, let's go to the Brazilian forest. Uh-oh. That is not good. I don't think we can go to the forest. This game is gonna crash if I stay here. So I think I just go back to the camp and talk to Zevran.
Are you sure I can't interest you in this hat? A pair of earrings, perhaps? A cheese knife? I'm sure you'll be pleased with the goods my boy and I have collected, and with your discount.
Here I am. Oh, this should be good. Go ahead. I know little enough of the Dalish other than the fact that my mother was one, or so I was told. She had fallen in love with an elven woodcutter and accompanied him back to the city, leaving her clan behind for good. And there, of course, the woodcutter died of some filthy disease and my mother was forced into prostitution to pay off his debts. Oldest tale in the book. Is it? It seemed normal enough a tale growing up. No different than the other elven boys in the whorehouse. I didn't know my mother either, of course. She died giving birth to me. My first victim, as it were. We were all raised communally by the whores. It was a happy enough existence, ignoring the occasional beating. Until eventually I was sold to the crows. I brought a good price, so I hear. It could have been much worse. Shall I tell you about what happened to the other whorehouse boys who did not fetch a decent price with the crows? Surely your life has not been so idyllic. People like you and I are not the product of happy lives of contentment, after all. My original point is that my mother's Dalish nature was always a point of fascination for me. Through all the years of my crow training, the one thing of my mother's that I possessed was a pair of gloves. They were of Dalish make, I knew that much, and beautiful. I had to keep them hidden, of course, as we were not allowed such things. Eventually, they were discovered, and I never saw them again. Not at all. I think of myself as Antivan. Still, that did not stop me from running off to join a clan when I drew near Antiva City once. Naturally, the reality did not live up at all to the fantasies I had constructed as a boy, staring at those gloves. But such is life. Come, enough talk of the Dalish. Let us move on. Here I am. Oh, this should be good. Go ahead. Well, the crows would have you believe that it is an involved process that takes years of training. The sort that tests both your resolve and your endurance. Survive that process and maybe, just maybe, you're good enough to start being considered one of them. But quite frankly, the truth is that all it requires is the desire to kill people for a living. It's surprising how well one can do in such a field. I don't know about that. It's simply a slightly different skill set from your average killer, as I see it. An assassin simply specializes in striking from stealth, and in maximizing that first attack to be as lethal as possible. Debilitate your foe, either by poison or by crippling their limbs, makes any follow-up combat you need to engage in that much simpler. See? Getting paid for the act is beside the point. An assassin is more a tactical choice than a lifestyle. Of course, the crows like to pretend that their abilities are trade secrets, shrouded in shadows and wrapped in a blanket of mystery. So let's just keep this between you and me, shall we? Here I am. Oh, I certainly could, but I won't. I swore to the crows that the things they taught me were to remain a secret. And while, yes, they are already angry at me, I'd rather not push things, you see. If you are truly insistent, well, let me think about it. The crows are already angry at me, yes? Who knows? Here I am. Oh, this should be good. Go ahead. Oh, you wish to know about Antiva, do you? The only way to truly appreciate it would be to go there. It is a warm place, not cold and harsh like this Ferelden. In Antiva it rains often, but the flowers are always in bloom. Or so the saying goes. It is fine enough with its dogs and its mud. The people are spirited, even if they can't tell the difference between an assassin and a mere killer. I hail from the glorious Antiva city, home to the royal palace. It is a glittering gem amidst the sand, my Antiva city. Do you come from someplace comparable? Ah, yes, of course. The wandering life of the Dalish. That truly is better. I'm jealous. You know what is most odd? We speak of my homeland, and for all its wine and its dark-haired beauties and the lilo flutes of the minstrels, I miss the leather the most. It may as well be. But not this once, no. I mean the smell. For years, I lived in a tiny apartment near Antiva City's leather-making district, in a building where the crows stored their youngest recruits, packed in like crates. I grew accustomed to the stench, even though the humans complained of it constantly. To this day, the smell of fresh leather is what reminds me most of home, more than anything else. Oh, not so long, I know. It is my first time away from Antiva, however, and the thought of never returning makes me think of it constantly. Before I left, I was tempted to spend what little coin I possessed on leather boots I spotted in a store window. Finest Antivan leather, perfect craftsmanship. Ah, but I was a fool to leave them. I thought, Zevran, you can buy them when you return as a reward for a job well done. More the fool I, no? True, and it's a comforting thought. One simply never knows what is to come next. How could I have suspected I would end up defeated by a beautiful Grey Warden, a woman who then spares my life? I could not. Quite right you are. I see the Grey Wardens do not recruit fools. Now, if it is all the same to you, I would prefer not to speak more of Antiva. It makes me wistful and hungry for a proper meal. That smell. This is Antivan leather, isn't it? I would know that anywhere. I don't know how you found it, but thank you. But I'm not finished admiring them yet. Can you smell that? Like rotting flesh. Just like back in Antiva City. Now, if only you could find me a prostitute or two. A bowl of fish chowder and a corrupt politician. I'd really feel like I was home. And the feet as well. Marvelous. I shall treasure it. Thank you. I've a question, if I may. Well, here's the thing. I swore an oath to serve you, yes? And I understand the quest you're on, and this is all very fine and well. My question pertains to what you intend to do with me once this business is over with, as a point of curiosity. Could I? And what if I didn't wish to leave? Indeed. I might even be glad to call myself such, come to think of it. It is good to know what my options might be, but that is for another time. For now, we have much to do, yes? What say you? I suppose the crows are already furious, yes? What harm is another tweak to their nose? If you wish to be trained in the basics of an assassin, I can certainly show you. Or anyone else who is also a rogue. It shall be fun. I will make it fun, I promise.
Okay, so it's time to get serious with Leliana.
I enjoy the nights at camp. The night always seems more peaceful to me, safer. I feel the night grants us a reprieve from the troubles of the day. Silly, isn't it? The darkspawn never sleep, and they lurk in the shadows. I enjoy those nights when we stand guard together, talking to pass the time in those small hours. Well, I talk and you listen mostly. Sometimes I succumb and fall asleep and wake to find you still watchful, and I know you're watching out for me. What I'm trying to say is that I trust you. I'm comfortable around you. I know you'll be there when I need you. You are our leader and my friend, and sometimes I think that maybe we could be more than that. Maker, look at me stumbling over my words like an ill-educated peasant girl. Some bard I am. I'm not embarrassed. I'm just flushed because of the heat. What? Are you saying I have bad taste? Why can't I like you? You're a good person, a great listener, a remarkable warrior. You often show signs of intelligence, and you're fairly good looking. Most of your facial features are in the right place. You're welcome. I try. There isn't much more I can say. My feelings have been laid bare. You are very special to me. Really? No one told me. You felt the same way and didn't do me the courtesy of informing me? You made me say all those things. Why couldn't you have said them first? Oh, you... Oh, how very awkward. Well, yes, but don't question me. I am a woman and I reserve the right to be inconsistent. Why am I being such a baby about this? I must be a sight spilling my guts.
Oh, shameless little elf just snatched a kiss from Leliana. Anyway, since we couldn't go to the Brazilian forest now, that's where we're gonna start the next episode. I think for now that's the least dangerous place, plus it also has tons of good loot. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will create a hard save here, and I hope we see each other again when we hunt for some werewolves.